Welcome to Winning the Divine Lottery. I'm your host, Amy Dawns. Hey, Mark, it's so nice to have you here today on Winning the Divine Lottery podcast. I came across you a couple of years ago, actually, on YouTube, and I have to say that your content and the way you describe it and share it with your audience is so grounding and simple. You take like big concepts, I feel, and you can really simplify them to help people understand. And your recent book, How to Win the Lottery Using Quantum Physics,
Yeah, I
I
think I have
just
it here.
read. Yeah, I have it right here too. I have my
Get your
copy. I've read
get
it
your coffee, guys.
I've
Yes.
read it a few times already, and I absolutely love it. So I would love to hand it over to you and just to share how you came into discovering all this for yourself and maybe a little bit about your winning the lottery for yourself.
Oh, okay. Yeah, definitely. Well, I was always into the I guess you would call it the metaphysical or the spiritual. Well, I always believed that, reality isn't what it's made up to be. So I would be a geek in science and physics, and then I got into subconscious mind. And what really stood out to me was how reality is comprised. When I finally realized that we don't live in a physical world, but we live in a more of an energetic world, and that our senses are just doing a good job of making it seem like it's physical, but in purest forms is atom. It's a quantum world, but I mean our regular minds don't wouldn't grasp that, right? So it's something that you have to kind of overstand, but your mind will say, well, this is physical, but the the big picture, the big story is that it's not physical. So that was the first point in all of that, to realize that, okay, this is really an energetic realm that I exist in. And because it's energy, uh my consciousness or my mind creates reality, because you cannot have something without an observer. Nothing can come into your existence without you observing it, because you're the one that is experiencing it in the moment, right? Everything is subjective to you and I. I'm sitting here talking to you, you're sitting there, but even though we're in the same space time talking, we're having different subjective experiences. I mean, my hands are on the console here. I feel different. You're sitting in a comfortable position. Excuse me. So it's a subjective world to us. So because things are subjective to us, our experiences must match what is subjective to you and I. Meaning that basically what I expect, what I think about, must become a part of my experience, my regular world, and that is done through my subconscious mind. Now to the lottery, with knowing all of that, um, basically what I did, there was this car that I just fell in love with. It's a Dakar yellow E46 M3. I have the car. I just didn't drive it today, but it's in my videos a lot. I do videos in them a lot. But that car really stood out to me, and I wanted to get that car. And it was at that time, it was in what, 2016, 17, around that time. It was out of my budget. Car was a little expensive for me. It was about 35, $36,000. But it was a rare car. It was only one of 10. And I said, well, I want this car. How am I going to get this car? I don't want to pay for this. I don't want to make payments. And then I started applying what I learned about consciousness and manifestation and the subconscious mind. I said, you know what? I'm just going to win the lottery, because, physics says that everything to me is a subjective experience, and I can create it based on my perception and interpretation. So I said, okay, let me do that. Let me do that. So I went in it and I started to visualize the car. I made it as normal as possible, and I started to buy the lottery tickets. And then I would see like signs showing up around me. I see evidence of the car. I'd see the car's a yellow car. I see a lot of yellow cars. And I said, okay, so this stuff is working, because I noticed it's subjective. Make a long story short, so I visualized it. Within a few months, uh, I won the lottery and I bought the car.
That's amazing. And you do a lot of videos out of your car, I know. And
Yeah.
you just come across for me as a listener, super calm, super chill. You're very natural in what you share, but you have so much wisdom. Like you really get this stuff and understand it. And truly what I feel is you really genuinely want to help people. You go live all the time on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, yeah. Now, when this happened, then that's when the light came on, and I said to myself, I said, man, because I would talk to other individuals and I watch other programs, and it seemed like a lot of people didn't get it. I was like, but to me, it was so simple. I was like, this stuff, I understand it. I get it. And then the light came on and says, hey, this is what I have to do. This is why I really came here. I came here to help people, to show people, to inspire people, to give it away. Just talk to them, show them how you do it. So that's why I do what I do, because I feel it's my purpose and my passion is just to give it away.
Yeah, and you can tell. I really loved what you said in your book about how the lottery isn't chance, but that's something that's really projected because the society and the world understands that we usually come from a place of lack and limitation. But you kind of reframe that in my I'm using my own words, but you kind of reframe that into it's not a game of chance, but it's actually a game of deliberate creation. Do you want to expand on that a
Yeah,
little bit?
yeah. So we go into quantum mechanics again, and it's part of quantum physics now. And what quantum physics says that we cannot observe something without being a part of the that. So in simple terms, everything that you see around your life, you're either attracted it, invited it, you have some responsibility of that thing coming into your existence. That's what quantum mechanics says. So it says that what we perceive, we receive in short term. Now, with that being said, there's another aspect of quantum mechanics that I think a lot of individuals are just now um understanding, or they're basically in the beginning phase of that part. And in physics, they call it the many world interpretation. And what physics says now, that not only are we the observers of our world, the creators of our world, but there exist actually infinite possibilities of actual realities that our duplicate selves are experiencing. In other words, every possible experience that you can think of. For example, today, if you decided to go and get coffee, then there's a reality that splits off where you didn't go get coffee. And today you decided that you're going to go to cleaners, but you changed your mind and you didn't go to the cleaners, you went to the other place. The reality splits off where you went to the cleaners.
Mm.
So quantum physics says for every decision or everything we make, there exists a reality that splits off. So that has to eliminate the world of chance. Chance cannot exist then. That means there has to be a actual physical, dimensional, well, not physical in our sense, but in a probability or an actuality status, that there is a reality that exists of you doing the thing. So that takes the lottery. That was part of the thing. So I said, okay, if this is the case, then the lottery can't be a game of luck or chance. And me winning it, to me, proved that it couldn't be a luck of chance or probability, because I actually won it. And the way I won it, the way I visualized it, it actually came out the exact way in my mind. The way I seen it is the way it manifested in physical, everything to the T. It was so trippy. But that's what I mean by that. So it has to say that there's a reality where I've already won the lottery, because in quantum mechanics, it says every possible outcome must exist. So how do I get into that reality? Well, the way to get into the reality is also quantum physics says so even though there's these realities that exist, or someone might ask, well, yeah, these realities might exist, but who says you can go into the reality? Who says that you can bring that reality into you? Well, quantum physics says that you can. And that's what's called quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement basically says that nothing is separate. So if nothing is separate, everything is tethered and connected. So therefore, you can go and experience a reality and bring it into your state of being now. So what happens is you can get the experience by imagining the reality you want. And that reality, remember, it already exists out there. What you're doing is you're using your consciousness, or using the field, what they call physics, the field, the energy. And what you're basically doing is you're transmuting it into your state of being for you to experience it. Because remember that in physics, it says everything is subjective to you. It's the easiest way I could explain it. Nothing is real until you decide it's real. Nothing is real until you observe it based on what you think and what you feel. So that eliminates the world of chance in the lottery.
I love that. And really, everything that you teach and help people with, you can apply to any area of your life, not just the lottery.
Exactly. That's what this is why I love this book. This I wrote
Yeah.
this book is good because it's beyond the lottery. So yeah, the lottery is the main point. It shows you if you want to win it, you can do it. But you can take that concept and you can manifest and create anything in your life with that concept. So it
Yeah.
goes beyond it.
Yeah, that's incredible. Um, can we talk a little bit about signs? You talk about evidence and signs a lot, but also that you don't want to just look for those. Otherwise, that's all you're going to be manifesting are the signs and the evidence.
Yeah, well, yeah. See, the thing is, uh, we have an ego, our conscious mind, which is our observable mind. So it would like to look for patterns and watch. So a lot of us, what we do, we get caught up. It's like, okay, I see the seven. Okay, let me look for some more seven. That's not how the universe works. If you're going to look for sevens, you're going to create what's called a reticular activation system, and you're going to see more sevens. It doesn't go like that. What you do is you decide what you want, and then let the signs appear. You'll know when it's a sign because it smacked you in your face. When you see the sign, just acknowledge the sign and let it go. Do not look for it again. It's going to show up again for you. It'll alert you. That's what I mean. So most of us, I think we get the misconception that, oh, if I see the sign, I gotta keep looking for more of it. You don't keep looking, it will find you. So that's what you have to do. And you do that, now you're on the natural course to manifest. But if you start looking for the sign and then, oh man, Mark, I keep seeing these signs, but nothing's manifesting. That's because you're out of the alignment. Now you're trying to control it by looking for it. Let it find you. When it find you, it will lead you and it will guide you.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this stuff. You also say something that I think is really important to talk about, and that's to decide what you want and do the process until you get to the desired result. And when I heard that the first time, I was like, that's so good. And in a way, too, we talk about this definition of insanity, which is doing something over and over and over again and expecting a different result. What's the difference between that and what you're talking about?
Right. So okay, if you're doing something over and over again, that insanity or not. What I'm talking about is what you do is if you decide what is it that you want, right, and apply what you want means you do it in the imagination. You have to see the goal being achieved in the end in your mind, not physically trying to go out there and do it in a mental in a limited aspect with your conscious mind by using willpower, by trying to figure out. That's insanity. If you do it in a way that, okay, this, for example, will be with the lottery. I decided I want to win the lottery. So what did I do? I played. But while I was playing it, I visualized the outcome. See, that's the secret, the visualization of the outcome. So what I did, I kept playing until I got my desired results. Now, if I just said, hey, I'm going to win the lottery, and I just kept playing and playing, I'm in a world of chance or odds, and who knows, I may never win. But the secret is when I put my imagination to it, your imagination becomes the physical reality. That's what you do. So when you want something, you decide it, project it in the mind and the end thinking, and just follow through until it comes in. It will come in.
Yeah, our imagination is so powerful. Would you say then that's how we actually impress into the subconscious mind?
Yes, our imagination is what creates our world. I mean, that's how you see. That's how you hear. That's how things come. Imagination created this car, this phone. Imagination, it was once in someone's mind and became a reality. So our imagination is the secret. Now, remember when I won the lottery, the key for me was the imagination. Every night I would visualize the win in the end. I was so certain that I was going to win that I bought stuff before I even had the car. I bought my steering wheel cover. I bought a mat because I knew that if I press my subconscious mind by showing it evidence of what I want as if it was already here, it will make it even that more tangible and that more normal to bring it into my reality.
Yeah, you talk about that too, and I love that. Before I even learned about you, Mark, I never even thought about buying a lottery ticket. And now I do, and it's so much fun. Actually, right before this interview with you, I was out. And what happens to me now often is I'm always in a place where somebody else is winning and I hear that woohoo. And I know that that's my sign to buy a ticket.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah, and
great sign.
I bought a scratch off ticket. I won $40, but hey, I still won, right? And it's not about the
Yeah,
amount. You talk about that too. It's about treating every win as something natural that happens for you and the next logical step.
correct. Yeah, it's the thing is what you're doing. So if you decide, for example, someone watching and say, "Hey, I want to win the lottery." Mark can do it. Yeah, you can do it as well. So
Mhm.
what you do, you decide, you set your budget, stick with your budget. Remember now, manifesting the lottery is it's a process. It's going to take some time, what we call time, right? Because our minds got to get the repetition, and you got to be patient, and you got to be deliberately in your steps, in your imagination. You will get it. You keep going, and you have your budget, and you visualize, and you let it go. You will manifest it because we live it. There's infinite realities where that can happen. So what you want to do is whenever you're creating something you see evidence around you of other individuals like you see someone winning and that's a great sign for you. That means you're on that frequency
Mhm.
of abundance. So that means you're towards that goal. That means one day, very soon, you'll win big if that's what you want, if that's what your desire is.
Yeah. Prior, I wanted to share this short little story with you because when I started listening to you within that 6 months, I wasn't playing the lottery, but I was playing, it's called the Regina Home Lottery where I live, where you have a chance to win like a $1 million show home and there's a whole bunch of other prizes. And
Right.
and I desire to win one of those houses. So I've been playing actually for the last 5, 6 years. And there was one week leading up to this that I could actually like tangibly and viscerally feel the abundance energy around me. And I knew something was going to happen, but I didn't quite know what. And one morning I woke up, and for whatever reason, I was listening to Doreen Virtue, and she shared something about blessing your mailbox with checks in the mail. And it just resonated with me. So I said it. The mail came later that day, and I got something from the Regina Home Lottery, and it wasn't even fully sealed. I actually thought it was a receipt because I had just purchased a ticket for like the next one. And I left it sitting on my kitchen table all day. And I finally went and opened it, and it was a check for $1,000. I had one from the
Oh,
previous one. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. And the day before, I was driving with my son and we were going to go buy a lottery ticket. And we saw 888 on the license plate. And we were just talking about the lottery. And him and I were just like, oh my gosh, we were just talking about the lottery and we saw 888. And then that happened the next day. So it was so much fun.
yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's how it works. When you once you understand the concept of this, then you can navigate and use the signs like the universe is showing you. For example, when you see the 888 and that check came in the next day, you see the lottery. Also, now you know when you see 888, also play the lottery again. Buy another ticket, buy a couple tickets, because the universe, whatever frequency you're on, that's what you're going to attract. Remember, this is all you creating this as well.
Yeah.
This is your observation. This is your expectation. And it works that way because you're the observer in your unique world. We all interact and experience our own unique world, our own unique reality.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. And it's really not about getting the money because the joy came actually from the process of what led me to getting that check.
You said the most powerful words. So for anyone that's out there maybe watching this and you want desire to win a lot or whatever, always remember it's the process. You have to have fun. That's what led me to win. I was having fun playing it. The most fun part for me was just my imagination. Every night I could just visualize it. Even if I knew I wasn't going to get the car, or whatever my mind was saying, you're really never going to get the car because you're not going to win the lottery. It's going to be some odds or chances. What if you take 10 years and so all of those stuff I had to kind of push out. But it was just the thing, it was like my go-to feel-good moment, just for me to imagine me in the car driving my car. That's all it was for me. It was just the process of every night I would just feel good to be in my imagination. And I think that's what created it because whenever we have no resistance and whenever we're open to what we want, it comes in, it seems it comes in a lot faster. And that's because our subconscious mind now doesn't have any resistance, and our subconscious mind sees it as a next logical or normal thing for us.
Yeah.
And we tend to manifest more. So the real secret, you said the secret is the process, is to have fun along the way with the process and don't have any expectations. Say, I gotta get 10 million, I gotta get 5 million. You know, it doesn't work like that. You're gonna create resistance. Just say, hey man, I'm open for abundance. Yeah, my goal is 5 million. Hey, my goal is 50,000. My goal, whatever. But you know what? I'm open. I'm just gonna go with the process, have fun, and with I know the universe is gonna deliver it to me one way or the other, whether it be the lottery or some other means. So that's how you do it.
Yeah. And you've won, I mean, multiple times, haven't you, since then, since your car lottery?
Yeah, yeah. So since the car lottery thing, then I started to get more into it. I just figured, I said, let me take it a next step further. So now, since I can create it, what about these numbers I see? Can I use those in the lottery? And then I found a game called the Florida Play 4 game where you could pick four numbers. And I started to play those numbers, and I would see numbers like 899, 89, 89, 4744. And I played those numbers, and I won big two with those numbers. So I continued doing it. And with the scratch offs, I would see scratch off tickets that had certain numbers, a certain feel on them, and I'd win as well. So I definitely continued.
Yeah, and you talk a lot about like trusting your intuition. That if you walk into a store and you see a scratch off ticket that just calls your name, and if the person working there accidentally grabs a different one, don't change it.
Yes, that's because again, remember, okay, whenever we're creating something, the only thing our regular mind is doing is observing what's happening in the moment. So we got to remember that. Means don't trust your regular mind to figure out to get you what you want. This is why you go to intuition. This is why you lean on your higher mind to do it. Because now, if your regular mind was in control and someone says, give you the wrong ticket, your regular mind would say, logically say, no, that's not the ticket I asked for. Give me the other ticket. No, you gave me two. Why you gave me two? Take it's not. See, when you let the universe work for you, that's what happens. So that when you do things like that, your subconscious works for other people, individuals, to get you what you want. So when someone gives you a wrong ticket, a mistake ticket, so I I could count on my hands how many times I've gotten mistake tickets and they're all winners.
Wow.
Out of all the times I've won, there's only one time it didn't happen. So I'm about 90%, if you want to use odds, I'm 90% accurate with that. Every time I get a wrong ticket or misprint, it's always been a winner by some if someone give it to me.
That's awesome. Can you share the story of when you were seeing the ticket flapping in the wind?
Oh yes, yes. So this I went to a store. It actually happened two times. One of the first one was a $500 winner, and the other one was over. I was $1,000 winner. But I'll go with the first one because that was the most memorable one. I went to the store. They have these drive-through places where you can like some places have drive-through where you can get like your juice, and they got the lottery right there. So I went there and I stopped and I said, I bought a couple quick pick tickets. And then I just started to glance on the scratch offs, and I was like, oh, something says get a scratch off. So while I'm glancing at the scratch offs, because they're like a window outdoor. It was a calm day, so I'm glancing scratch offs. I'm saying, okay, Mark, which one I'm going to get? And all of a sudden, there's one scratch off. That time it was a $20 Gold Rush ticket. I think it was. Yeah, it was just flapping. That ticket was just flapping. All the other tickets were hanging just like it, but they weren't blowing. The only one the wind was blowing was that ticket. I automatically knew then that was a ticket. As soon as I bought, I knew the ticket was already a winner. I just knew it, and yes, it turned out to be a $500 winner. And every time that happens, it always wins. But this is what happened when you become entangled with your world, your desire. Things like this happen. If that's not just lottery, it could be any part of your life. But if you're like in real estate or something, you see a house flap, a sign, something, it will convert to your unique situation to show you the signs. Your job is just to be open to read them and not be too logical. If you're too logical, you're gonna miss it. But the universe isn't logical, by the way.
Yeah, I love that you said that. Can you expand on that just a little bit for somebody maybe hearing this for the first time that the universe isn't logical?
Well, yeah, because the universe doesn't work the way we were taught it works. Things don't work in a straight line. There's no past or future. Linearity, the universe, everything exists in the same moment in different coordinates. Everything is illogical. The unimaginable is imaginable. Things work trippy, people would say. It doesn't work linear like you think it. The universe doesn't work the way your mind says, well, I gotta do this to get that. because our minds are limited. Our conscious mind is it's about you can only get 10%. Your other mind is infinite. So that's what I mean. It's illogical. It's beyond the logical mind. It's just like how your subconscious mind works. Your subconscious mind works with anything it believes and sees is possible, and you believe it, it'll come into your world. That's how the universe works. It works by your imagination, not by your logical assumptions.
Awesome. What would you say to somebody who's just beginning this journey? Just a couple of simple steps to take to start to open themselves up to this world and the possibility.
Yeah, the first thing you got to do is you have to decide, know what you want. Once you decide whatever it is you want, you have to impress your subconscious by using your imagination. You have to either be start visualizing. If you can't visualize, you have to start scripting or writing down what you want as if you already have it in the present, or feel what it would feel like to have it. Would it make you feel happy? Would it make you feel contented? But if you visualize, make sure you see what you want in the end, not a beginning, not you don't go and try to see, well, how am I going to do this? You see the thing already manifested. Lottery, you see yourself in an office winning the lottery. You want a house, you see yourself already in the house doing regular stuff. You don't see yourself buying the house, closing on the house. You go right to the end. You could, the end could be, yeah, the end could be, actually, the end could be closing. You see the check, you're closing the house. The end could be you're in the house doing regular stuff. You put yourself at the end of whatever it is you want.
Yeah,
That's the best advice for beginners. It will help you a lot.
perfect. Um, with that, what would you say to somebody who finds that they're always bumping up against resistance? And you shared this once in one of your live videos, and you said you've just been able to completely let go of Mark, like the story of Mark. And I think that's so important and profound because I think really for us on this, whatever you want to call it, spiritual journey, personal development journey, we have some level of awareness that we really do have to not drop the ego completely because the ego can be utilized to do certain actions, right? To support the subconscious mind.
Right. So yeah, if you find yourself up against resistance, it either means that you are trying too hard or you're being too analytical. So what you have to do is, yeah, and also the number one reason why we meet resistance or you think things are is because I think we're constantly trying to figure out how it should come to us or how we're going to get it. So you have to let that go. You have to understand that the universe isn't logical, it's illogical, beyond your comprehension. Just know what you want and let it unfold in the way it's supposed to by you letting go of letting go of the steering wheel, let the universe drive for you, because the universe knows the hidden roads, the other directions that you don't know that can get it to you. And you trust yourself by being in the moment, by following the signs, and by going with the flow. That's how you'll change and release the resistance, and you'll get whatever it is that you desire.
Yeah, I love that. By letting go and trusting yourself is huge. And what you mentioned too, that I'm a firm believer in, we have to let go of the time it takes.
Right. Exactly, because the time thing, for me, when someone asks me, well, how long did it take you to win the Fantasy Five, Mark, when you first won it? Well, be honest, I would say, if I'm looking back, because I don't even keep time. So I always say, I think it would have to be between 9 months, 9 to 12 months, nine to 13 months. And that's an estimate because when I was playing, I wasn't keeping track of like, okay, this time. I was just started and I started doing it. So for me, when it comes to time thing, I don't really focus on the time because I know the time is an illusion. Linear time, that is. The months and the years, they aren't there. I didn't win in 13 months in actual the bigger picture of it. I just won in 13 months of to make you understand time. But I won now. I already won. You understand what I'm saying? So it happens now. So that's what you got to understand when it comes to manifesting, is that there is no time like it's going to come later. It's always now. When I did win, when I did I win? Now. So that
Mhm.
you have to understand that process. Your ego will give you the concept of time, which will create resistance.
Yeah. And if it's all happening now, then of course it feels natural.
Right.
Yeah, I love that so much. I have two questions before you hop off, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. What would you say if you had to like storyline this next chapter of your life? What would it be?
Okay, that's a great question. And here's the answer. Again, it goes back to that's not up to me. I don't look at it like that. People, because here's how I view reality. If you ask me, well, Mark, where do you see yourself in 2 years or 5 years? Maybe you asked me 5 years ago, I'd give you an answer. But now it's where I see myself now. So the way I would answer that question is whatever direction I'm being led to in the universe. So right now, what direction I'm being led to is to continue to motivate and inspire. That's what the chapter is right now. So whatever else the universe decides, and I go with that. So that's how I look at these things. Because if you try to put things and say, well, I got to see myself in 5 years, because it's not you that's in control. You're in a 3D. It's your authentic self. It's your higher self that's in control. So it decides based on your desires what you'll be doing and experiencing. So I can't tell you 5 years, because this, to me, 2 years or 1 year doesn't exist. It's not here. It's like, what in this moment right now, what am I doing that may lead to that? That's the best way I can answer that.
I love that answer. That's so wonderful. Okay, when you hear winning the divine lottery, what comes up for you?
Oh, when you said the divine lottery, I think what thing that came up for me is winning your best life possible.
I love that. Thanks so much. And where can people find you and listen to you? I mean, I know, but I would love for you to share to
Yeah, you can
direct people
find
there.
me on Facebook, YouTube, Mark Haughton. I'm on TikTok, Mark Haughton. You can find my book. Here it is. Amazon, you have it. You can find that there. So you can find me everywhere. Just put my name in there, Mark Haughton, and you'll see me there.
Yeah, and I'll make sure we put all your links in the show notes as well. Well, thanks, Mark. It's been an absolute pleasure having you here today. And keep doing what you're doing. You're inspiring lots of people.
Thank you so much for inviting me, and I'll see you
Okay.
again.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.